Hey everyone, John here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a wedge breakout trade here on crude oil. So we have our trigger short 43.24. We close very aggressively outside of this wedge. My stop is going to go a couple ticks above this high up here. Now you can see that the stop size is relatively large. So because of that, it's going to be hard to utilize any other type of really firm targets. You know, looking for normally a wedge breakdown, you're looking for this huge move down, which is definitely possible, but again, looking for that large move down may cause a couple problems. So instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to utilize our risk stop instead, and we're going to go 1-to-1 and 2-to-1 on the way down. So our stop is at 43.46. Our entry is here at 43.24. So we're looking for a 1-to-1 right around here. Let's see, 43.02 or so. So we're going to go a tick ahead of that, 43.03, and then a little bit farther down, because we're already a one tick offset, 42.81 should be the next target right there. So this is basically, we're just kind of looking to lock in the move down, and based on the fact that it's going to be difficult to get this move right here all with one set of contracts, I want to make sure to scale out a little bit. So our first target's going to take 2 off at 43.03, and then looking for the next push down to 42.81. That would be a big drop from our entry point here, 43.24. Even down the first one at 43.03, we're looking at 21 ticks, and then looking for the continued breakdown down here at 42.81. That'll give us 43 more. So 2 off at 21, that's 42, and then another 43. So a nice potential setup here, looking to the downside for 85 ticks. Now, the normal stop on this one, we're looking at a stop just in case it turns around at 22 ticks. And because of that, you could add a couple more. Based on the way that it formed, I honestly thought it was a little bit bigger, so 3 contracts might be a little bit light, but still looking to the downside. I may add a couple more here at 24 if it'll come back and fill me, but overall, just looking to the continued downside on this breakdown on crude oil. So it may take a little while, right? It's a 5-minute chart. We're not even at the open yet. We're still, 15 minutes away from that. So give it a little bit of time here and see if we can break this back down again. And we may just add on a couple more here. I'm going to add 2 more off of the same price point. There we go. Perfect. So we're going to take 3 off here and 2 off down here. Slight adjustment just because the risk is not as large as I initially thought it was. I'm going to take an extra couple on that one. So looking continue to the downside here, and we'll see if we can get our targets filled. All right, seeing nice downward pressure here on crude, and there we go. We got the fill. 43.03 to the downside. Now that we've got that, 2 contracts are left, and those are going to go to break even right here. So 43.23 is the stop. And right now, what I'm tracking is this area here at 42.96. This is that measured move of this initial wedge pattern. So if we get hung up here at 42.96, it won't be a bad idea to take a contract off there too, and then try to ride out the rest, just primarily based on the fact that that's an area that is expected to see a lot of profit taking. So 42.96, if we can break through it without much hesitation, we should be perfectly fine to ride this the rest of the way down. But I wouldn't blame anybody for taking a little bit of profit there at 96. Since we already have our target here at 43.03 filled, honestly, it's not much of a difference between 96 and 03. So because of that, I'll get out if I see some bouncing here at 96 and a lack of continuation. If we break down, though, we're still looking 2-to-1 down to 42.81. So far, so good. Nice little move back down, and we had this small little inside bar that fired off and closed very aggressively down, and now we're breaking down kind of a nice follow-up. So because of that, I'm going to lock my stop in above that. I really don't want to see that area challenged. So 43.15 is going to be the stop, and looking for a little bit more continuation to the downside at 42.81. So you can see we're definitely seeing some profit taking here at 96. I need to see us break through this area. It's very important that we break through this area. If we can break through this area, then we should be perfectly fine to continue back lower. But just taking note, we are seeing a little bit of bouncing here off this 96, so we may have to get out of one contract a little bit early and see if they'll fill us at 96, maybe a front run, in the 43s. But outside of that, looking for a final push down to 42.81 to wrap this trade up. Beautiful move to the downside, gorgeous wedge pattern. I mean, you really can't ask for a much better looking wedge pattern than that, and a breakout candle. That's the kind of breakout candle you really want to see, this big boy right there. That really proves that the sellers are in this move and they want to drag this price lower, and jumping all over that one. We ended up selling 3 and then another 2 when it came back. So total of 5. If we can get that push down, again, because we kind of modified it, I took 3 off at 21, and then we're taking 2 off a little bit farther down at 43 instead, just because it's a little less risk than I was anticipating. So 149 ticks total possible on this move. So giving it a little bit more time here, we can see they're trying to break this down. If we can break this down without much of a problem here, we should be okay to continue this a little bit farther down. But because we are seeing them attempt to break down, I really don't want to see the high of this candle challenged either. Now we just need to see them fall out of bed, rip the Band-Aid off, if you will, and then drop through this 96 area. And that's going to be the 1-to-1. Now, sometimes with these extended pushes down, you might even see a 2-to-1 on the pattern itself. And that would put a move, I mean, wow, all the way down here to 42.47. I mean, that's a gargantuan move to the downside, so I don't necessarily anticipate that. Most patterns complete 1-to-1, but we are seeing the sellers really trying to drive control to the downside here, and there's only a minute left on this candle, so if we can close down this aggressively, we should be perfectly fine to the downside. You can see them challenging and challenging and pushing and pushing and pushing. If we close above this 96 area, I will probably exit one early, just because that would show a failure, right? It'd be a failed breakout underneath that 96 with a big old wick. So if we do see that, then we'll be getting out a little bit early. So far, though, the sellers are taking control of this massively. Big downside move. Look at this thing just tumble. 20 seconds left. Really good chance that we're not going to come back above this 96 area here. Wow, look at that selling pressure. So really close to the target. Let's see if they can finish it all off in this one giant candle here. Coming in close. Coming in close. One tick away. And there we go. Get the fill. 42.81 fills. Huge move to the downside all in this one candle. How big is this candle? This thing's huge. So far, right now, it's a 31 tick candle and it just closed down. So we can close that stop order. So beautiful move down. I definitely wasn't expecting it all in one, but you saw as soon as we started breaking under that 96 area, the sellers really started hammering this thing down, and we got our final target filled. So overall, 149 ticks on 5 contracts. That's $1,490 on a beautiful ride down. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to shoot me an email at School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com, and as always, we'll catch you next time.